The film begins in the 1980s with a child named Noor on the road passing an abandoned house, so he is afraid to read Quran, and when he enters the classroom, his friends annoy him because of his horrible smell, and the teacher bullies him because his vision is weak, and he wears his glasses, and we call him Amasha, but Noor does not answer him, so when the teacher shouts, Noor gets angry and says his name is Noor, not Amasha, so he annoys the teacher and asks him about his book, so he tells Noor that he is not with him and lies to him and says that he memorized the lesson. But the teacher did not believe him, and he punishes him by having Noor go out on the roof of the school that is in front of the abandoned house, so Noor begs the teacher to leave him, but the teacher insists and closes the roof on him and leaves him, and he goes and leaves Noor very afraid because he thinks that there are ghosts in the house, and he is surprised when he meets his friend named Motasem who fights with him, and he asks Noor to sleep on the floor and asks him if he has memorized the Quran. He says Noor, and he says that he only memorized one surah from the Quran, so he asks him, Motasem, are you your name Amasha? So he gets angry and Noor and says his name is Noor, and then Noor asks Mutasem to visit his aunt's signature after Noor learns that Mutasem draws a lonely one, so he refuses, but Noor convinces him that he will give him £1 in exchange for that, so Mutasem agrees, and Mutasem asks him to keep a great distance from him because his smell is ugly. Then Noor comes out of the school and wants to buy ice cream, and this is because it will still look new and taste sweet, but Noor does not have the money to buy it, so he steals it and goes, and then he meets a girl of his classmate from the girls' school, her name is Saham, and Ali shows Noor that he likes her, so he asks his friends to play football with them to attract attention, pay attention to him, but they refuse because Noor has poor eyesight, but in the end they are forced to agree because they need one person to complete the team, and when Noor starts, he doesn't know how to play, and his friends prefer to shout at him until he hits the ball in his face, so he breaks his glasses and plays Noor, and he didn't see anything until Noor hit the ball in the deserted house. His friends stop him and force him to enter the house and answer the hat, so he fears light and refuses, but they enter light against him, so he gets terrified and keeps crying until evening comes on him, and suddenly a ghost runs on him, so light runs until he knocks light on the ghost and he finds the ghost wearing a slipper, so the ghost says if you don't leave, he will turn him into a monkey. So Noor is terrified and runs away, and when he arrives at the house, he cannot eat because of his aunt's husband, whose name is Hanafi, and he keeps yelling at his aunt and cursing her. So she gets upset and goes to sit outside the house, so Noor goes after her and gives her ice cream, so his aunt is surprised, and when she asks him where he got the money, Noor lies to her and says that the teacher gave it to him because he is superior, but his aunt thanked him. When Noor sleeps, he is afraid and keeps shaking, and his aunt wakes him up from his sleep. When Noor wakes up, he asks her if he has turned into a monkey, so his aunt laughs and tells him that you are still the same. Noor tells her that he entered the house of ghosts to appear brave in front of his friends, but he did not succeed in that, so his aunt warns him and forbids him to go there once. At the end, Noor asks her if ghosts wear slippers, so his aunt tells him that they do not wear slippers because their feet are like a goat's. So Noor returns to the abandoned house, and although he is afraid of me, he keeps convincing himself that there are no ghosts wearing slippers, and he says in a loud voice to the ghost, I know that you are not a ghost, you have been exposed, and he says, I come to take my glasses, and while he is talking, the ghost grabs him in his shoulder, and when Noor opens his eyes, he discovers that he is an ordinary man, so he asks the man who sent you here, and if you do not answer, I will kill you like they killed before you. Then Noor gets scared and asks him, are you a thug? Your father? Noor says that his father and mother are dead, so he sympathizes with him and tells him that I will leave you, but threatens him that if you come back here again and inform anyone about me, I will kill you and all your relatives, but Noor agrees with him to appear in front of his friends that the ghost carries out his orders to show his friends that he is brave in return if I did not tell anyone about your identity, and Noor also says that I was not afraid of you, because there is no person who disguises himself as a ghost in a funny way, so the man is forced to accompany him in order to get rid of him. The next day, when Noor goes to school, Noor asks him for the £1 he promised him, so Noor offers him to hit the ball in this abandoned house in exchange for giving him £1 more, so Mutassim agrees. He told his friends that Noor entered the abandoned house and gave them all the missing balls. He tells his friends that the ghost is afraid of him, but his owner does not believe him. He says that there are no ghosts, so he enters the house, so he gets terrified when he finds the ghost in front of him. So he runs, and suddenly all his friends love him and ask Noor to play with them, and when he goes to his house they are happy when suddenly his aunt's husband beats him because he stole money from him. The next day, when Noor goes to school, he pretends to his friends that he is talking to the ghost, so they are afraid of Noor. At the same time, the music teacher appears, and her name is Jihan, so she asks him if she entered the ghost's house, so Noor replies, yes, I entered and frightened the ghost very much, so Jihan jokes with him, and they keep playing and singing. In the evening, Noor goes to the abandoned house and asks the ghost to sleep with him in the house because my aunt's husband beats me, so the ghost agrees after he notices wounds on Noor's face, so he flatters Noor and gives him ice cream. His friends are the ones who did that, but the ghost knows that he lies and gets angry with him, and says that he hates lying, so Noor confesses, and says that my aunt's husband beat me, I live with him since the death of my parents, and that he takes all my money that my father left me and spends it on drugs, so the ghost gets affected, and then they eat ice cream, so the ghost tells him that it tastes good, so he asks him Noor, what is your name, so the ghost hesitates and says that his name is Al-Markabi, so Noor asks him why you are disguised as a ghost, so Al-Markabi tells him that he hates people, but Noor does not believe him, and says that you know very well the person who is lying, so Al-Markabi gets angry and kicks him out of the house. The next day, Noor goes to school and is surprised that Saham is talking to him and asks him to bring him a piece of cloth from the ghost's clothes because her sister is trying to stay behind and needs anything from the underworld. Noor confuses you and does not respond. In the evening, the light hits his face with bricks so that the ghost agrees to enter and take his piece of cloth. When Naz enters, he tells the boatman about Saham and says that he is happy that I spoke to Saham, but he is a bit sad because she calls Amasha by name, so the boat advises him that his name is more important. So do not let anyone call you without your name, and then tell him the story of King Akhenaten, and tell him that he was calling for a new religion, and that the Egyptians did not want to change their religion, so they decided to follow him. During their conversation, Mutassim watches them and learns that the ghost is an ordinary person. The next day, Noor meets Saham, gives her his piece of cloth, and asks her to take her to the house. When they arrive, she calls him Amasha, so he asks her to call him by the name of Noor, and don't say Amasha again. The teacher asks him about the forged signature, so Noor confuses him and tells him that it is his aunt's signature, so Noor is surprised when the teacher gives him a high score in the exam, even though he left the paper blank. Alice Noor Makbal that the ghost fulfills their wishes, so Noor agrees and takes the money from them, and when he returns home, he discovers that his aunt's son had a broken leg, and his aunt does not have money to check on her, so Noor gives all the money that he has to my aunt, so his aunt is surprised and asks him if she is stealing my husband, so he tells her that they are his money and begs her to go take her son to the hospital quickly. In the evening, Noor goes to the abandoned house, and Noor tells the boat about what happened to him with Saham, and he remains upset because he knows that she is talking to him because of the ghost's words, and that she will not like him because he looks ugly. Tall or broad, he was a man of normal shape, and in some narrations it says that he had a skin disease, and a man shorter than a man, and they say that courage and strength are not in shape, and that you have to have confidence in yourself in order to shout like the braves of history, but Noor begs him to sleep with him in the house because he is afraid of a husband. His aunt agrees with the boatman and asks him not to come close to anything inside the house, and before he goes to sleep, Noor asks him, do you have relatives who miss you? The next day, Noor meets Saham, and she tells him that she is happy because her sister is pregnant because of your help, and before she walks, Noor tells her that his glasses are broken, and he does not see anyone except you, and that he sees you even if you are standing at the end of the street. The music teacher is at the grocery store and asks her to make a wish so that the ghost will fulfill it for her, so she jokes with him and tells him that she hopes the piano will be fixed. But Noor enters her house and they play together, and Jihan tells Al-Markabi that he can appear in his true form because she recognized him from his voice, and it appears that Al-Markabi was working as a broadcaster on the radio, and Jihan tells him that she will hide his secret because Noor has changed because of him, and he considers you his father. To let the ghost find a bridegroom for his daughter and threaten him, if he does not do so, he will dismiss him from school because he took money from his friends and visit his family's signature. When he returns home, he finds that his aunt did not examine her son because her husband took the money that Noor had given him, so he fights with Noor and was going to beat him, but he is afraid and goes. In Egypt, they found strong popular resistance, and its leader was named Omar Makram, and he was a great leader. When the opportunity came to him to rule his country, he was afraid and did not believe the magnitude of his heroism. If Omar Makram had believed that Egypt should be ruled by an Egyptian, he would not have given a chance to an Albanian soldier to rule his country, and then the soldier got up. Omar Makram is exiled to Damietta, and with its pride he asks the boatman from Noor to believe his heroism and does not allow anyone to steal it from him, and that the true hero is the one who tells the truth even if he is afraid. So Noor sleeps next to the boatman, and when Noor wakes up he stops searching the house until he gets the boatman's answers to his daughter, but he becomes afraid he sends her, so he leaves her at his house. Noor goes to the teacher, Jihan, and asks her to take him to the home of his son, the boatman, because he wants to help Marambi, as he helped me. When he arrives at her house, he finds pictures of Marambi with his daughter, so Noor asks her about the photos, so the daughter of the motorcade tells him that she is her father. And they used to play together, and they disguised themselves as ghosts, intimidating people and joking with them. Noor tells her that her father still loves her very much, and he knows her father's address, and she goes. When Noor and Jihan return, they buy new clothes, and they know that his daughter will come to visit him, so the boatman disobeys them and expels them from his house. But then he changes his mind and wears the clothes that Noor bought for him. When his daughter arrives, he knocks on the door, and he tries to open the door for him, but he goes back on his decision and tries to hide from her. When his daughter enters the house, she finds it empty. When she goes out, she tells Noor that they will demolish the house because they will sell the land. When Noor enters the house, he asks him to he catches up with his daughter before she leaves, so Al-Markabi says that my name is Ahmed Wahid, not Al-Markabi, and we know that he was a broadcaster on the radio and he was famous, and that he was responsible for the news that Egypt won the war in the year 1967, even though Egypt lost, and that he could not bear the lies and deceit, so his family and his daughter left him and he became depressed and decided to live alone in the village. Noor tells me that he is not a hero and one of the bravest of history, and that he must remain a ghost. Noor says that people lie. He has Noor and he goes to the school and decides to speak on the radio's mic and says that there are no ghosts and that he will return the money he took from his friends, and exposes the teacher and the principal of the school and says that he will not be able to solve their problems, so the principal yells at him and takes him to the desk. So Noor says that he is not a ghost and that he is a normal person and asks the teacher Jihan she testifies with him, but she lies and says that she does not know anything and that Noor is sure to tell stories, so the principal dismisses him from school. After that, Jihan goes to Al-Markabi's house and knocks on the door, telling him that Noor has been dismissed from school because of him, and that he must save him, and that she lied to the principal in order to keep the promise she made to him. Because he drinks illegal drugs, and when his aunt finds out that she is hitting him, he leaves her and goes. The second boy meets Saham and learns from her that her father will work in the Gulf and she will travel with him. When he returns home, he finds his father waiting for him, because he learned that Noor was separated from school, and we know that Noor his father is still alive and works as an officer in the policeman. His mother is dead, and his father decides to take Noor home with him, but he refuses Noor and says he will live with my aunt, and Noor asks his father not to come to visit me again, so Noor's father is affected and asks him to take care of himself and remain a man, and then we see the boatman's house while he is calming down, but Noor stands in front of the car and prevents them. They guide him, and he tells them that there is a man inside the house. When they enter, they do not find anyone, and before the house calms down, the boatman suddenly appears, dressed as a ghost, so people are afraid of him and runs, but his daughter knows him and asks him to leave the house, so her father asks her, "Will you forgive me?" So she says that she will not be able to allow him because he is not there, and she goes. And then, thanks to the boatman, he is sad, and Noor tells his story to the boatman, and tells him that his father is alive, but he decided to leave him dead because he considers him a ghost, but the boatman tells him that his father loves him, but he may see that his presence will be worse than his absence, and then Noor thanks him for everything he did with him, and then he goes to say goodbye before she travels. Saham gives her ice cream, so she thanks him and tells him that she will come back in the summer and meet him, and give Noor her sister's glasses instead of the broken glasses he owns, so Noor is happy to see clearly when he wears them. The police, so Noor tells him that he is not afraid of him, and threatens that if she hits my aunt again, he will call the police, but his aunt's husband hits him on the brain with a stick, so he falls and enters the hospital and dies, and then we see Al-Markabi as he is leaving his abandoned house, and his appearance continues to change. Also that, he sees her all the time, then leaves him, gets into the car with Jihan, and asks her to take him to my daughter's house, and then we see Noor in the abandoned house, dressed as a ghost. It's the end. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.